Hi friends, my name is Mrs. Rubin and I am a mindfulness instructor who's had the pleasure of working with students all throughout the district, helping them to discover that we can all be mindful. So today I'm actually here to share with you some mindfulness strategies that can help all of us to not only increase our focus and attention, but maybe decrease some of our worries and distractions so that we can be our best selves no matter what it is that we're trying to accomplish. Now, I'm sure if I asked you how many of you have actually heard of mindfulness before, many of you would probably raise your hand. It's something that is a very popular topic that we hear a lot of people talking about these days. And I specialize in helping students of all ages to understand that mindfulness is simply paying attention on purpose. And I'm sure that's something that every single one of us has experienced before. Some people describe it as being in the zone. And I really like that term because I think that it helps us to think about the many ways that we can be mindful. So maybe you have paid attention on purpose in class when you are trying to learn something new. Maybe you've paid attention on purpose to your coach or a teacher if you participate in an activity outside of school. And maybe you have paid attention on purpose to a video game or a show or a book that you really like. All of those are ways that we are practicing being mindful, meaning we're paying attention on purpose to the present moment. And when we do that, we notice that it feels like we really get it. We're in the zone. But just like we've all been mindful before, many of us have also been mindless before. In fact, scientists who study our brain tell us that most humans spend between 40 to 60% of their day in this mindless autopilot state. And so these can be really helpful when we're trying to do something that maybe isn't as exciting as doing something we enjoy doing, or maybe we're doing something repetitive like walking our dog or doing our chores. The problem with being mindless is that we're not really in control of our focus and attention, and therefore our mind can go in lots and lots of different directions, making it so that we're more likely to make a mistake or forget something. It's even more likely that we're going to have an injury or hurt ourselves somehow. So the really good news is that just like we can grow the muscles in our body to be stronger, we can actually grow the muscles or parts of our brain that help us to pay attention for longer and stronger. And when we do this, the really exciting thing is that we can actually change the parts of our brain that maybe make us get more distracted, or maybe make us get a little bit more reactive or hurt by different things that happen when we experience strong emotions or really difficult experiences. And so the more we practice being mindful, the more we can ensure that we can be the best student that we want to be. We can be the best friend that we want to be, and we can be the best anything, whether that's an athlete or a performer or simply just being the best human being that you can possibly be. So as humans, we all have something that is called an amazing human brain. We have a brain that no other animal on the entire planet actually has. And so what makes us all alike is that we all share this human brain. This human brain not only keeps us alive, it also keeps us safe, and it helps us to be smart. And so when I explain the human brain to anyone, I like to use my hand as a model, because this helps us to kind of see what's actually in here that we don't get to see. So when I talk about the human brain, I often like to use my hand, and I'm going to use this hand just so that you guys can see. We all have this part of our brain here, which is our wrist, obviously, we know. But in our hand model of our brain, this is what is called our brain stem. The brain stem has a really important role of keeping us alive. This is the part of our brain that helps us to breathe, makes our heart pump, and basically without our brainstem, we wouldn't be here right now. Obviously, that's an important part of our human brain and something that we all need. Now, inside of our human brain, we also have this part of our brain, which we call the lizard part of our brain. It's technically called the limbic system of our brain, but I like to call it the lizard part because it's the oldest part of our brain. And this part of our brain's job is to keep us safe. This is the part of our brain that's always scanning for danger, always looking to keep us as safe as we can possibly be. It's what makes us run faster if we need to, fight stronger, or freeze if there's danger. And so, this part of our brain is something that all animals have, as well as our brainstem. But what other animals don't have is this part of our brain. This is called the prefrontal cortex. And this is also what I like to call our smart parts. This is the part of our brain that helps us to learn. It's the part of our brain that helps us to make good decisions. It's the part of our brain that helps us to understand language. If you think about it, when we have strong emotions or experiences and we feel mad or sad, or maybe we feel disappointed or excited, this is the part of our brain that helps us to make good choices and decide what to do. But this is also the part of the brain that we lose most often. And what I mean by that is when something happens that threatens our safety or makes us really upset, like let's say you're super worried that you're going to fail a test, or let's say that you get into a huge fight with a really good friend of yours or someone in your family, what happens inside of every single one of our human brains is we, bing, flip our lid. Now that's another thing that makes us all human, is that we all experience these situations that make us, bing, flip our lid. And when that happens, our smart parts are not the ones who are running the ship. Instead, it is our lizard brain. And if you think about this, if you've ever met a lizard before, are they able to solve problems? Probably not. Are they able to help you to make good decisions? Absolutely not, because this part of our brain is only responsible for keeping us safe. Another way that we can kind of think about this in terms of what happens in our brain when we flip our lid, is to use one of my favorite mindfulness tools called a mind jar. Now, I use this for lots of different things and practices of mindfulness, but for today, we're going to use it as a representation of our brain. And so, imagining that when we flip our lid, this is kind of what's going on inside of our brain and our body. And you'll notice that when the glitter is swirling around, it makes it really difficult to see clearly or to notice what's going on. It makes it hard to make good decisions. It makes it hard to calm ourselves down. We might feel as though all of this stuff is swirling inside of us. But you'll also notice that as we take a moment to sit and relax and maybe breathe, slowly you'll start to notice that the glitter starts to settle, so that now we can see more clearly and think more clearly. And the same is true about our brain when we flip our lids. When our brain has gone offline and our lizard brain is doing the walking and the talking, when we take some time to calm ourselves down or to take a break and possibly breathe, it allows our smart parts to come back online. Now, I realize that not everyone has a mind jar lying around, or maybe you do, and they're actually something that are really simple to be able to make, and you can YouTube or Google it to see how you'd like to make one yourself. But take a moment to just kind of think, and maybe even pause this video to share some ideas of things that you can think of that would help you to kind of pause to allow your glitter to settle. Something that maybe is relaxing to look at, something that helps you to feel more calm, maybe something that you feel like is satisfying to watch, and something that helps your glitter to settle. And then when you're ready, you can come on back, and I'm going to share with you another way that we can all help our glitter to settle. Welcome back. So, I always like to share things that we can do no matter where we are, and that we can do that doesn't require any kind of special equipment or certain materials, because I understand that not everybody has that. So, what I love about mindfulness is that it's a practice of paying attention on purpose. It doesn't matter what we pay attention to, the benefits of being able to calm down faster, feeling more calm in stressful situations, as well as being able to increase our focus and productivity and energy level, those benefits come no matter what we practice paying attention to on purpose. So, the strategy that I want to share with you to help us all to kind of settle our glitter is one that I love because of the fact that you can do it no matter where you are. Because I call it the 5 finger breath. Luckily, we all have our hands no matter where we go. And this is something that, when practiced, can be something that we can do without even using our hand. Now, when you've gotten upset before, I'm sure you've heard someone tell you to take a deep breath. And there's a reason that they're telling you to do that. With each deep breath that we take, it actually calms down the nervous system, or our jumpy amygdala, the alarm system in our reptilian part of our brain that makes us flip our lid, that part of our brain that perceives danger. And so by taking deep breaths, not only does it help our glitter to settle, it also helps us to relax our alarm system, reassuring it that nothing is really terribly dangerous or going wrong, and allows our smart parts to come back on. So when we do this breath, you can, put up your hand. I often say your high five hand, and then using your other pointer finger. The first few times you do it, it's really helpful to follow along and do it this way. And then I'll explain some ways that you can kind of hack this breathing in the future to personalize it and make it work for you. So, putting up your hand, your high five hand, this is a really simple breath that reminds us that on the in breath, we go up. On the exhale out breath, we go down. Inhale up, exhale down. Inhale up, exhale down. Inhale up, exhale down. Inhale up, exhale down. Now, when you do this, you will have completed 5 deep breaths. And if you feel like your glitter is still swirling around and not completely settled, then you can go ahead and repeat that. Do 10 deep breaths, do 8 deep breaths, do whatever feels right for you. What's cool about this is that not only is this helping us to, because when you're really upset, it's sometimes hard to even count and keep track of how many deep breaths you've actually taken. It's also what we call a grounding technique. Anytime that we use both our right and left sides of our body to do something, it automatically calms our body down. It automatically brings us to the present moment so that we can relax and be able to bring our smart parts back online. So by doing this and by using a hand and a finger to follow along with this breathing technique, it can actually, just by doing this, help us to calm down. Now, the other thing that I really love about this breath is that, yeah, we can use it to help us settle our glitter. We can also use it when we need more energy, when we feel like we are a little tired or a little sluggish and we need more energy, because it can help us to reverse our breathing. And so what we can do is, when we exhale first and then end on our inhale, we're actually infusing ourselves with the energy that we need to be our best selves. So it can be a little tricky when you feel like you're reversing your breathing. You might feel like it's something you haven't ever done before. And again, that's why using this hand model can be really helpful, where you start on the exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, and that's it. Now, if you've had the chance to do that, you might want to pause this and just kind of see how you feel after doing those different breaths, kind of comparing and contrasting what was the difference that you noticed in doing those 2 different types of breathing. There's no right or wrong way to breathe, and that's another reason why I love this. You can make your inhale and your exhale as long as you want it to be. You can also inhale and exhale through your nose or your mouth, doing whatever feels right for you in that moment. And the really interesting thing is that the more that we practice this, not only do we get faster at it, not only do we figure out ways that work best for us, we might notice that today doing an inhale exhale is what works for me, and tomorrow when I need some energy, doing an exhale inhale works better for me, because each moment is completely different and different things have different reactions to each and every one of us. But the really cool thing is, the more that we practice responding to ourselves when we have flipped our lid with something constructive, something helpful, by being mindful, we actually start to grow these smart parts, making it less likely that we are going to flip our lids in the future. And that, friends, is really, really, really exciting to me. So today when you go home and your parents ask, what did you learn at school today? I hope that you share with them that not only did you learn about the study of our brain, which we call neurology, but also some strategies to kind of stay in control. Because there's always going to be things that happen in life that are going to cause us to want to flip our lids, whether it's interacting with others or things that come up as part of being the life of a student. But really, that we learn some strategies today to help us to be our best selves. And most importantly, I hope that what you remember from today is that having strong emotions doesn't make us a bad person, it makes us human. We all have them. So having strategies to help us respond to when we have strong emotions can help us to kind of stop that freight train before it gets to the point of no return. And that we all have the ability to sometimes hit pause, that we can breathe or do something that helps us to relax and kind of lower that, allow our glitter to settle so that we can bring our smart parts back online and allow our best selves to have time to kick in. Now, next time when I come back, I'm going to share with you guys even more strategies of ways that we can practice mindfulness no matter where we are, so that we can continue to grow those smart parts, making it so that we can be our best selves, be our best students, be our best friends, whatever it is that's important to us, and make it less likely that we're going to experience those flip lid states in the future. Until then, best of luck. I hope that you enjoyed this, and I look forward to seeing you again.